This is my Carrera S, and like every other Carrera, you get this razor shifter, but in GT cars you get this. In the last video, we looked at the various aftermarket options, but really they're just knobs. We looked at then stripping down the existing razor shifter and some of the electronic connectors. So, we've got so far, but how much further can we go? In this video, I want to talk about the GT3 shifter, the elephant in the room. But I'm also going to look at another pathway. Let's start looking at the current PDK razor shifter, stripping it down, because I think we might have some options here. So let's start taking this thing apart. So there's a base, we need to unscrew that. That goes into the actual body of the car, which now reveals the shifter. On the side you can see the connector, and it is different to what you get on a GT3. Let's start pulling that apart now. First part of that is actually being able to release the razor stub itself. You just need to pull it forward and you can get a torque in there and start to undo it. And it comes apart pretty easily. Now once that's apart, you can just see there's a little bar across there. That helps seat it in. But that's really as simple as this razor shifter is. Got quite a nice little weight to it, but that's all it really does. Now we need to delve further and start pulling more of this apart. So with those screws undone, the fascia can just come off and it just reveals the actual shifter mechanism itself. You can see there's a connector that takes the P and M buttons and connects into that main module, and then that whole thing is then fed into the main electronics that go into the TCU. As you can see here, obviously the park and manual buttons, and we need to get those out because I want to relocate those. I'm not looking just to put a stub back in here. Now this took a bit of time, some multiple cack-handed attempts of trying to get this done. I've left these in for your entertainment. But ultimately, just pulling this bit off of the top, the fascia becomes free and we can see what is underneath. With that now done, we can just get a bit of a visual there on the PCB that sits underneath it, and then the park and manual buttons on top. Just clicking them to double check they work, obviously. Now to get there, you ping the top of these buttons off. They're quite straightforward, they just clip in and out. Yeah, we're getting closer to seeing how this is mounting on. Now getting this out of the main module was a bit of a headache, so I had to crack open the dusty ibuprofens and used the packaging there just to slide some tabs down so I could easily pull this centerpiece out. Well, that's what I hoped. And my hope was correct, because yes, just pulling these pliers and it came out quite easily. And now we can see the PCB in all its entirety. Interested to know what those two buttons at the bottom are for, because yeah, they don't appear to be used on this console. Just used some D-pinners here and I can push the PCB out and finally get that out and released. There's a rubber membrane that effectively sits across the top of it, which gives a nice feeling when you push those buttons in. There's left and right buttons, and then there are two LEDs for each. So let's delve now into actually getting this bit of it working and tested. So I'm using this helping hands tool, really useful, and I've got the PCB held in place in here. That's going to allow me to wire this in. I'm going to use a Wamtech DC power supply to get some power into this PCB, and then we're going to get the lights working and test some of these buttons to get some responses. Now I'm just keeping this on a low voltage and I've got a test pack to run through, so let's get cracking. So pins 4 and 6 they're giving us the parking light, which is great. Now, with the lights proven and the buttons proven, we've got a potential viable means to relocate those buttons. I want to relocate them now in this GT3 centre housing that I've bought. I've then remodeled the actual housing for the button themselves. So here we've got the park button potentially relocated. And again, this is all like prototype, and some of this stuff I'm prepared to throw away. I'm not presenting here a final finished article. So now to get this to fit in, I want to relocate this button into where it just used to have the GT3 emblem. Sticking some masking tape on there to protect it, some double-sided tape, and I'm going to mount on here a template which I will cut through, and that's going to allow me to get the button in place. Got the Hozo hot knife up and running, and I'm going to speed this bit up, but it makes reasonably light work of cutting through this plastic. Just need to cut out the slots on the back as well that create the support. But once that's done, we can pull this out and we've got our hole. Just file it down now, make it look a bit nicer. And there we go. Again, prototype template installed, but still need to reshape some of that a bit. Okay, so let's get back to our option, the real GT3 shifter. That's the one everyone's suggesting. And honestly, it's the one that I really wanted it to be. I still want it to be. Surely the GT3 is just a nicer version of the Carrera shifter, and let's just whip it out, put the new one in. But the more I've looked into this, the more it appears not to be the case. The GT3 shifter is a completely different setup, completely different connector, different pin count, different hardware around it, and once you get past that bit, you can see that this stops looking like a simple part swap and some coding. The wiring, the coding, the control modules, all of this stuff is all heavily locked into Porsche's security platforms as well. And this is the call out really. If you're watching this video, this is not about promoting me, but let's reach out to the community. There may be people who do have these skill sets, who understand how to get through some of these security modules or do the coding that we require. The other option is the safer route, and that's the one that I'm going to take right now. I want to look at both of these things in parallel, but the route I'm going to take right now is to try and work around the existing PDK electronics. I'm going to look at seeing if we can engineer a shifter that will fit into the current PDK system and at minimum just map to the current paddle shifters that are on the car. If I can send the same signals that you would get from a paddle shifter, but do that via a center console shifter, that is a way forward. But once those connections run from the paddle shifters themselves, run through the clock spring, if somebody out there knows what wires I can pick up from to be able to feed a similar signal that you would get from the paddles, we might have a way forward here. So, in summary, thanks for watching the video. I really hope you liked it. I know that this is also going to be a bit of a long journey till we get to the answer, but I truly believe we can. And as I progress working through the other shifter proposition, look out for further videos on that too. Thanks very much.